Welcome back. This is Tony Wade, the Compassionate Investor, and we're talking about building a business from scratch. Now, this is the fun stuff. This is where you actually get into the nitty-gritty of building a business. Now, where do you start? Because it can go like 15 different ways, but I want to try to make it as seamless as I can and be able to help you sort of see how you go about building your business. So, and what I like to do, because at the end of the day, you need to be on board 100% with what you're about to start. Because we're looking at least 12 months. I don't see anything less than 12 months of you actually working in the weeds of your business and being committed to that. When I say the weeds, whatever needs to get done, you're going to do. If you got to market it, if you have to go out there and fill out invoices, if you have to go actually do the work, you're doing the work. 12 months minimum. And the reason why I say 12 months, you don't know what you don't know. And it makes me think about the one business that I started literally a year and a half ago. It was an extension of my business where I was doing shelter. I actually ran 2 homeless shelters. Ask me what I knew about starting a homeless shelter when I started. Right? I didn't. But I had some basic structures in place that allowed me to do it because I knew how to manage a site. I could manage a property, and some of the things we were already doing some of the work. But what do you think I did for a whole year? I was working it. I was in the weeds working that business. Why? Because you need to know what you don't know. And if you just put a few little moments in and think you're going to hire people that are going to take stuff over, it's harder to do because you don't understand everything it takes in that business, the things you have to build or mitigate for that you wouldn't have already known. So, and that's what I had learned from my experience working in the shelter, was there was stuff I didn't know that I had to build as, because I'm a business owner, and this is what you do when you're a business owner, is you learn ways to make your business work seamlessly, efficiently, and productively. Because at the end of the day, it's about doing what is necessary to make the money that you are doing in your work, okay? So once you have that commitment of knowing that you're going to work in the weeds, that's where you need to then start documenting your processes and procedures. Now, a lot of that you're going to be winging it on, okay? So prepare yourself for that. As you think about, I need to know about that. Start making notes. Get a way in which you can start documenting the ways in which you need to build this out. You already know one of my favorite tools is a mind map. I go to MindMeister. When I'm getting ready to start something, I go to MindMeister and I bust it out. I brainstorm like crazy everything that I'm going to need. And once I do that, I'm able to structure things and put together processes and procedures that work for that business. And that's what you're going to be spending that entire 12 months doing, is preparing those processes and procedures. Because guess what? Without processes and procedures, you just out there, how can you even replicate? How can you even scale without having processes and procedures in place to help run the business? Now, let me tell you the difference between, because when I say processes and procedures, probably people are associating it with like HR, which is important, how you hire and all that stuff, but that's not what I'm talking about is process and procedure. I'm talking about how do you do stuff, right? Creating a workflow. How do you get from here to here? If you are bringing in a new client, what does that process look like? What is it that you're going to fill out first? What are you going to fill out second? What is it that you need? That's why I said it's necessary to brainstorm the stuff you need so that you can start thinking about having it and then creating the process for implementing it, because all that's going to be critical, and you have to have a way in which you document that. Now, one of my favorite tools too, because everything that I do, as I've said, is I'm electronic. So my entire processes and procedures are all electronic, meaning I don't have to have piece of paper and pencil of stuff written down. Now, some people like that, and that's okay. You can have that to use as a guide, to have as a training piece for someone else to use, but I like having an electronic platform where I can direct somebody where they need to go to have information, and that is what I'm very good at building out. are those systems. So if you are someone that is interested in learning about how you can create your business and put it into an electronic platform, reach out to me, give me some comments, because that's the thing I specialize in also, because I help other businesses make their businesses online. So I like Microsoft Teams. My entire Teams is on my phone. Like, if I could pull it up for you right now and show you, I could see what's going on in my business right now just from my phone. I don't have to be there. It's all virtual. I literally just go and be wherever I need to be, and I can see what's going on with my team. Why? Because it's electronic. Everything I have is on my phone, and it's where I can get it on my phone, my laptop, but it's electronic. Now, when you build a business like that, now you've got a business that you can take to the next level. That's why I think it's important that you build all these processes and procedures so that they're in place to be able to help you get to that next level. Now, we're still talking about building a business, and in building a business, you'll have to think about the flip side, and I don't know how best to describe this. When you have things that happen, mitigating, that's probably the best way to go. You have to have a way in which you mitigate things. And if you don't have a way in which you are thinking through, like, because I actually like things to break while I'm building out a business. Why? Because now that's something that produced itself that shows me what I need to correct. So I like mitigating and making corrections, because now without corrections, you don't know whether you're right or wrong, right? So when you get to this point where you're at a place where you are now mitigating things that are happening in your business, this is probably going to be the most valuable piece to you building a business. And let me tell you why. See, once you've created all your processes and procedures, they're all written down. I don't want you to think they're 100% perfect, because guess what? They are not. They're about 80%, maybe 75%. But now you need to tweak it, and you need stuff to break. You need stuff to go wrong so that you can go back and tweak it and make your processes better. I am on a regular basis, I go through and I mitigate my business, and I streamline it to the point where, because you'll never be perfect, but I'm always in a state of improving it. Perfect example is I do this process called start, stop, continue, and I have another one called hold. But I go through a process with everything that I have, all my processes and procedures, and I say, okay, what can we stop doing because it ain't working, it's broke? And we do that for every process and procedure in our business that we work on. What can I start doing that wasn't there before that we can now add? What can I continue doing because it's working well and improve upon it? Or what can I put on hold? I thought I needed it right there, but we're going to hold it because it's not ready yet, and we'll come back. But that's a process I do for every aspect of my business. And as I'm looking at all the processes and procedures that we do to make our business run, to actually operate it, that's what I do. And I rely on that, because now that you've got your business at a point where you've documented and you've got everything fine-tuned, you've got a workflow related to how work is done, your processes and procedures are looking good, you've tweaked it, now it's time to talk about how you can transition some of that work to someone else. And we'll be back in just a moment.